So, Mister, I got to ask this. Obviously, you mentioned that you were a figure from the 2000s, which, yes, I would definitely agree that you were all over television in the mid 2000s, definitely pioneering something new that no one knew about. But my question is, obviously, the structure is the same: attraction, comfort, seduction. But now, in 2024, with the explosion of the internet, social media, dating and meeting women has changed significantly, right? The days of going out and cold approaching, people still do it, but there's a lot of, more and more people are meeting each other online. How would you say you've adapted your game and your structure to the new normal in which we live in a social media world?
Well, I think that the social media world is largely an excuse to not getting to the party. You can come up with many excuses why you're not going to get dressed and go to the public gathering and interact with other people in real time live. You can simply not get to the party. And I'll tell you, no one misses you. They're at the party. The hot women are at the party. I went to Hollywood. I'm in the UK right now. Right now my children are sleeping upstairs. But 2 weeks ago, dad being single, I was in Hollywood with Baxter. And after the nightclubs, we'd go up into the Hollywood Hills to the Hollywood Hills parties. And you don't have to show up if you don't want. Those parties are happening with or without you. But I'm telling you, they're great parties. So you're going to want to play cold approach pickup if you're going to want to draw beautiful women into your life and not have to somehow try to convince yourself that pressing keys is going to lead to sexual adventure.
So, do you think cold approach is still the best methodology to acquire leads versus, using dating apps or, because I remember back in the 2000s, like if you had a dating app profile, people laughed at you. But nowadays, it's extremely common, or Instagram or whatever it may be. Do you think that cold approach is the king of getting leads and sources?
Well, there are 5 levels of game.
Mm-hmm.
Have we talked about those before? Have you heard about the 5 levels of game? The first level is not opening girls by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Opening a girl by themselves is level 0 game. It's bonus rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Level 1 game is opening a group of people. Level 2 game is allowing adjacent sets to create social proof so that it's what we call merging. You merge sets. That's level 2 game, where you can merge sets together and be a part of a crowd around you and entertaining 2 sets together and letting them mix and merge and mingle and occupy each other so you can isolate your selected interest.
Mm-hmm.
Level 3 game is allowing last night's successes to assist you in this night's successes. That is, bring people to the public gathering with you. Women you've met the night before or the week before, invite them out. That's level 3 game. Level 4 game is letting last month's successes to assist you in this month's successes. That's bringing them out to a barbecue 2 p.m. on a Sunday. And when that happens, you can only invite the people you've met over the last month and their friends. So you get a kick-ass party happen. That's social circle game. And then level 5 game is something that I played on VH1, and that is hot game or celeb game, demonstrating higher value and uploading DHVs into people's heads prior to your arrival. And people do that now with Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of room for play in all of that. That is all a part of cold approach pickup. So to say that some guy looking at swiping pictures one by one, not seeing the face, designing the face that you want, and finding specifically within the database those who look as close to the image as possible, they don't do that. They have you swipe and offend you with girls that clearly are not your type, but the algorithm doesn't know your type. So you just go through. Which guy is going to fare better? The guy who practices his social skills in real world social gatherings, or the guy who's swiping, getting a bunch of first dates only to abysmally fail by never getting a second date?
Mm-hmm.
Which skill set do you want to develop? I leave that up to those listening.
Gotcha.
We do actually call online dating apps -1 level of game. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but it's time consuming. And then we have a level 0 as well. Direct game, opening the 1 set.
Gotcha.
I think building those skills is important because you're right. You go on dating apps, you swipe left all the time. You may get a match, meet them in real time, in person. But the problem is those skills that you need to actually cold approach are needed for the date. And if you can't go on a date successfully, then what's the point? So that's a good take.
Precisely.
It's a good
Very,
take.
very, very solid idea.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, which I've always liked about cold approach, is you're kind of able to deal, like, let's say you're not the most attractive guy. Well, if you meet her in person and you're charismatic and you're able to tell good stories, you'll be able to make up for that, in person by being charming and charismatic. I got a question for you, Mr. E.
That's so good.
This actually perfectly segues into peacocking. Can you talk? Because I would say you're the person that popularized a lot of these terms actually. What is peacocking? How can people go about it in today's day and age, and why is it so important?
Okay. Well, it's not going away. We'll start there. Peacocking refers to a man wearing outrageous clothing, not outrageous, just unique clothing that is maybe a bit cumbersome, like the plume of a peacock's tail. He dresses outlandishly, colorfully, like a peacock, in order to stand out and convey some social status in doing so. Like, for instance, the man who wears a fur coat in the club, or in my case, a faux fur coat. This is unreal, right? That's peacocking. Peacocking also includes those who wear tattoos. All tattoos are peacocking. Women, there are millions and millions and millions of women on the planet who have tattoos. They're all peacocking.
Mm-hmm.
That's all built in peacocking. This here, I've got gauges, peacocking. I've got this. This is adding to the peacocking, right?
Mm.
Even this item here that I'm wearing, carrying this thing here, you can see on the back. It's a unique look. It's peacocking.
Gotcha.
So it's not going away. People who stand out, women do it especially well. And when you go to a mall, you'll see they have so many clothing options, but men have less clothing options.
Mhm.
That's why we need to get creative.
Yeah.
Stand out. It takes more social savvy because, when I paint my nails black, people are going to say, why do you paint your nails black?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you have to get used to the social, the heightened social, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Social what? Social pressures?
Okay. Yeah.
Pressures, it's a good enough word.
I want to say
For those
go ahead.
interactions, yeah.
I was gonna say when I watched, and it's crazy. I remember this almost 20 years later. When I watched the show, I remember you would wear boots that made you taller, the goggles, the hats, the snowboard goggles, etc. And if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong. You generally recommend that every man, when they go out and they're trying, running game, to have at least one piece of peacocking clothing item, whether it's a necklace, maybe jewelry or something like that. Do you think that they should still have one piece, or should they have more nowadays to stand out in a very competitive dating marketplace with the internet around and social media? How should men go about peacocking in today's day and age?
Well, the idea of wearing one is to say to people, wear at least one interesting item, and it could be a necklace, so that if a woman wants to approach you, you're giving her an open invitation to by her saying, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
What is that? Where'd you get that?
Mm-hmm.
And that is an indicator of interest. So really what you're doing is you're eliciting IOIs by peacocking.
Gotcha.
So I'll wear faux fur, and anyone else, any girl who wears fur will hug me. It's like the fur club. Try it. You'll see. It works. We've got lots of footage, in-field footage examples of me running around Las Vegas in a fur coat. And while it looks ostentatious, it really drew a crowd. It allowed people to come in, meet me, interact with me, hug me, touch my fur, right? Ask if it's real. And I say it's unreal. Or do you know how many polyesters died for this coat? So I have my sound bites that are connected with my Peacock gear. And you should have sound bites ready to respond to when they ask you about your necklace. It should be more interesting than I bought it at the mall.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Mall. Much better than that is needed, right?
But even more
Any-
powerful if
Yeah,
you have two girls on your arm and you're peacocked.
Yep. Yeah, huge
Rockstar
demonstration.
status.
Yep.
That's right. And if they're peacock too, and you look like you're, in the same band, even better.
I would argue it starts online nowadays with Instagram. So girls peacock in different
No,
ways.
for you maybe. You didn't get to the party in the Hollywood Hills, did you? You missed out, man. You missed the party.
Well,
You stayed home, didn't you?
I was gonna
You stayed
segue.
home. You could have gone to the party.
So Instagram starts the party off for me. The girls come
Fair.
from DMs. Then we go to the party. Even more girls show up. And from the very beginning, they saw the lifestyle. They're like, oh, this is fun. This guy's fun. I want to be around him. We meet up at the party. We get more girls to join our party. And then from there, we have a great time. That's how I see it, at least.
That's level 4 game. You're
Yeah.
playing social circle game. That's great.
Mm.
But let's not be disappointed if you're new to a city and you don't know anyone and you go to a club and he's got all the girls. That's you. You've got all the girls and he's got none. And he'll say, oh, how unfair, when he didn't do the work. So you got to start somewhere in a new city. And you start with the 3 set. You just go to a public gathering, open the first set on the left, build a solid base. And then from there, you can open adjacent sets, work your night, merging sets as you get to know who's potentially single.
We have to do that
Yeah.
every boot camp. We have to touch down. We go there a day or two before. We do a recce around the